Hey, we're goofing.
Genuine ostrich.
Oh.
3 payments.
Repay. Hey, just 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. You are hearing me talk. This is good.
Bat signals out, yo.
Oh, I'm on the wrong microphone there, aren't I?
Sure are.
Yep. Obviously.
Much better now. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Sounds good, bro. Ooh, we got Paul, a Billy, and a Todd.
What's up, everybody?
Hello. I think we're good. Gonna go to our faces. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Streaming into the streams. How are you doing?
Still got music.
We're getting ready to do a little show here. We're gonna start recording on our recorder of choice. I'm rolling up here. New. Okay. Yes.
So I should turn off my crypto mining now, right?
Yes, that should have already been done, sir. All right, I am rolling on my audio recorder. Let me know.
I am rolling as well.
I am as well.
All right. We're going to do a sync clap, which will be 1, 2, 3 clap. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, awesome.
Ooh, that was like really on.
That ping time, though.
Right?
All right. Everybody else coming in? Man. All right. Tesla Rock. Brett. Jeff, Jason, Chris, Cristobal, Brett again. Nate, Sarah, Thomas, Kevin. All right. I think we're ready to go. Good to see y'all. Winbush is doing his streaming again next Saturday, starting again. Or he started this Saturday, but
Oh yeah.
he's going again. So everybody join. All right. Well, if everybody's good, we're going to start this thing. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Throat clearing and stuff. What's up and welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt, and joining us today is the super talented Mr. Isaac Taracks.
Hey, how's it going?
And Mograph is a supplement to our site, mograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other Mograph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. You can email us info@mograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Questions, comments, concerns, queries, grievances, show topic ideas, artist suggestions, all the things. Send them to us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, mograph.com. Noob or expert questions, comments, whatever it is. Send us some things and we'll talk about it. We are talking to Isaac this week. I hope everybody's having a good new year. Isaac's here talking about his Mograph world, and I hope that everybody is getting their projects on, because January's always a little bit quiet in the Mograph world. I feel like everybody's trying to get their thing going again, and they're just kind of like heads down, you know, trying to make that money dough.
Yeah.
So,
catching your breath from, Christmas, the big Christmas rush.
Yeah.
Everybody
shuts
doing all those Christmas explainer videos.
People are finally coming back and finally answering their emails because you're waiting patiently because you're ready to make money. And so hopefully everybody's good in that world. And we're going to talk to Isaac, talk about motivation versus discipline a little later on as well. And
ooh.
Yeah,
good
so
topic.
that'll be fun. But first, we're going to go to Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
Ice.
That's good. I like it. I like the
There we
addition.
go.
Yeah.
I'll have to make a jingle. I saw this morning, if you're an Octane fan, Ahmet, and he posted this on his personal Facebook. I don't know if he put this on anything else yet, but he put a screenshot that he is working on a Cinema 4D Octane light linker.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm
cool.
a little excited about that.
I'm not friends with him on Facebook. I'm not friends with many people.
No,
on
you
Facebook.
aren't friends with many people on Facebook. But I'm excited because for years I've thought that would be really fun to do. I kind of looked into existing light linkers and how they worked, and I was like, man, can I build this? And I was like, no, I can't build this. It's too complicated. So I hope he gets that worked out. In the screenshot, it looked like really cool. Like you could see what, every light was talking to and the geometry and tree and all of that. So I've wanted that for years. So we shall see. And
It must be nice to be so smart.
yeah, I want to be smart.
I want to be smart.
Smart.
I feel smart sometimes, and then just like it fades really quickly once I hit a new problem. I'm just like, maybe it was just luck the first couple times that I figured anything out, and then eventually you figure it out, and you're like, no, I am smart sometimes in very specific areas.
Yeah, I managed
Not
to make
in any
a
way that
plugin.
helps humanity, but yeah.
It's like the plugin we made before. Like I managed to make a plugin using only Espresso and no code. So if I'm gonna make another plugin, it's probably gonna need code. So I'm probably done making plugins. Yeah. Oh well. So we did get some more MOAR 3090s.
Yeah.
More.
All right, so I'll tell this story, right?
Yeah.
So Best Buy, we got the hot stock notification that it was available, and I had both my kids home that day, and I told my older kid, I said, just watch the baby. This is very important. I have to go do this. So I ran straight to my computer, logged on to Best Buy. I had it on my phone as well, and I was trying to get a hold of Dave because Dave needs a second 3090. I've got two 3090s. We're trying to get him a second one.
Patiently
and so
waiting.
I finally get it on my computer. And for the past few weeks, every time you go on there and you put one in your cart, it's like, oh, it's not available. So I wasn't expecting much. So I went ahead and I was able to check out. And so I got that other one. And so then I finally got a hold of Dave. And I was like, hey, and I got one for you. He's like, awesome. Maybe we should pick up another one just in case, like someone needs one, or we could sell it on eBay or something like that. That
Keep
way
it.
we're looking out or keep it, And so I was like, all right. So then he went and got on a meeting. And I ended up buying two more.
Wow.
So then I called him up and I was like, hey, I bought three. And he was like, you bought three? So we were thinking about eBaying them, but then, we convinced each other that we should just put them in our secondary machines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what do those run for? I've
they're
seen insane
after
prices.
tax, it's like $16.24. So they're like $1,500, and that's without the current tariffs that are going on. So I think they may be going up. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm stuck in a cruel game of like I'm on some Discord that's apparently supposed to like ping the channel with like a link whenever they're restocked anywhere. I'm just in this infinite loop of like, click it, oh maybe, click add to cart, and then there's like a sad dog on Amazon's like sorry page that's just like sorry you can't get it. So I've just been doing that. So I don't even
check
think
out
I'm ever gonna get them.
App called Hot Stock.
Hot stock.
Are you Apple?
No. PC.
Okay, then never mind. No, Apple, like iPhone. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Get an app called Hot Stock. It's free, and you can add one thing to your notifications.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Billy said we could use it
At
as
this
a doorstop.
point, I was like,
Yeah.
just
I
a
was
flex.
Just gonna pay someone to find one and like pay them a small upcharge fee at this point because I'm just like, I want them so bad, and I want to get rid of my older cards.
Yeah.
They're so nice.
So what are you guys running? Are you running two 3090s in
In our
machines?
main machines.
It'll be two 3090s in one machine, and then I'll have a 3090, a 2080, and a 2070 Super in my other machine.
And then
So,
I'll
I
have
think they-
Are those just air cooled?
Yeah.
I just heard like that. There's like those are very 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 hot.
So we both have open air cases.
Mhm.
I've got two open air cases that hang on my walls. Right. And
Yeah, I've
so
seen those.
it just
It's been
and
fine.
then What's awesome, I've been running crypto for the past week and a half, so they're constantly running. It has not gotten above 62 degrees.
Yeah, mine either.
Those 23090s.
And in the meantime, my 2080s
there's like a little bit
in
of
there.
space in between, so it's like they're just good. They're good.
But in the meantime, my 2080s in there, like getting up to like 86. I had to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a huge difference in air cooling compared to the 20 series. It's very noticeable.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Thomas in the chat said he's got 4 980 Ti's literally laying around. Thomas, let me give you some advice here.
Yeah.
I just went on eBay and I sold all 3 of my old 980 Ti's for $245 a piece.
It's not
so
bad.
they're still worth something. Just throw them up right now because Bitcoin is still relatively high right now. I mean, it's like 33,000 last I checked, but could be down 10,000 in the next 5 minutes.
Lost a little money in the last couple of days, but
yeah.
Whoops.
So like the thing is, like, crypto mining is profitable again right now. So people are looking for these cards.
Isaac, you do crypto? You mine or
anything? Yeah. Don't mine. No. I like got into it in like 2016, 2017.
Not bad.
Like, yeah, that's like when I got like the first thing I got was like a referral to join like Coinbase. They were like giving away like $10 worth of Bitcoin.
Nice.
And like I joined it and like you got, like your little tiny sliver of Bitcoin. Then I like got XRP on like some other, like Binance was like a thing back in the day before they like closed down. But yeah, I just like got like 3 of them or so. And then like it did that huge spike up to like where Bitcoin hit its like first like big like 20 grand.
Yeah.
And like I didn't sell then, and then it just like plummeted. And so I just was like, if I never sell it, I never lost any money. And so I just held on to it this whole time. And now it's like double that crazy like high. So I'm just watching in like amazement, and like my only goal is that I was like, okay, like I don't really want to ever take it out just because it's like fun to like watch it go up, and it's like I have pretend amount of this much money.
Right.
But the wife and I decided like if it ever gets to like we could withdraw and like pay all student loans off, or like that's what the Bitcoin is for right now. Like,
absolutely.
it's just like if it can hit this like huge like achievement, and then it's like we'll take it out, and like could go up more, but that's kind of like our threshold, because I feel like that's kind of the it's like a gambling game, so you have to like go in with like a set amount and like a set goal, or else you'll just like forever be like, oh, it could, and then you just like end up with nothing when it all Peter's way, or it takes over everything, and then you just have no new currency.
So I
60,000 is my goal pull out. Right now I only have $500, so I got a long way to go. That,
you want to turn
500
into 60,000 or
no, I'm gonna keep mining and stuff like that. Like
are
the
you saying
3090s,
when
they've
it
got a
hits
really
60,000 or when you make 60,000?
No, when I make $60,000.
Oh, okay.
That's when I pull out.
Gotcha.
And I use that money to build a pool in my backyard.
I see.
That's the goal.
Yeah, Billy,
this is all pool money.
Billy
right
says
here.
the hardware is ballooning. Looks like the 1080s are going for some. We've got one render machine in here with 4 1080s in it still. Maybe we can just cash them out.
Should.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm telling you, like our Mr. Meeseeks machine that has 4 1080s, it's just 4 1080 Founders Editions. It has a lower octane bench than one 3090.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's just insane. Like this is like what you want out of tech. When like tech comes out, you want it to just like smash the other thing you had so much. But
absolutely.
At this point, like new iPhones, like it's like a new camera. It like does like maybe a couple new things. I feel like we're past the point in like phones where it's just like obliterating. It's like I don't know, the cards seem to be like going from like a flip phone to like a smartphone every jump, and there's like we're like that much better, and then maybe like I don't know, a lot of them break, and then you can't get your like hands on any of them. But other than those issues, it's like it's really cool to see like they just like keep like finding better ways to do things where like exactly where we need it. Like there's no bloat, there's no like big remarks about like the case design or anything at this point. It's just kind of like make good tech, and then it just like makes I mean it's kind of annoying because like I had like the best cards like 2 years ago, and now they're just like way blown out of the water. But I would rather that than like inching like little like improvements. But I don't know.
See, I was like 6 980 Ti's for like 4 years, 5 years, you know, and I had just been waiting. We had a really good year this past year, so we were able to afford, you know, some upgrades and stuff like that,
So
which
now
is nice.
we can render more and get more work done and make more money and buy more cards.
Right?
Never ends.
Step 1, buy graphics cards.
Yeah.
Step 2.
You guys messed around with the Octane cloud rendering stuff, because that's kind of like
Render?
the sweet spot between like having a mining rig, having a other thing.
I haven't gotten to the point where I'm actually like render jobs for people, you know, but I've sent it to render.
Is it at that stage yet even?
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It is
you just have to, you just have to contact them, you know. I don't think there's enough people using render right now to like I don't know. It's still
you have to be an artist to be able to render other artists' jobs. It's not open to just like anyone with GPUs, right?
I think it's open to anyone with GPUs. Yeah.
Oh, just to totally fulfill jobs and like bank. Oh.
Totally. So.
Yeah, and the crypto.
I've been talking to people that like in mining, and they've just been like, I was like, you could always do this side thing that's like, you know, to mine a Bitcoin at this point is like, you know, cost is like a little bit there, but like to just do render jobs, I just don't know how much the conversion of like a person that's only in it for like the tokens is like, I don't know. I haven't seen the render token do crazy jumps up and down. It seems to float around like.
I don't. So here's what's weird to me about that. Speaking of it, like you can buy one render token or whatever for what, like 25 cents or something like that. Is that what it is?
I think it was like 18
I'm pretty
cents
sure
or something.
I'm pretty sure it's 25 cents, but you can go to some of these other like places and buy them for cheaper. You know,
there's even a weird thing on the render site. It's like you can buy like 4 like tokens for this much, or you can like use your token, which will go longer because you had the actual, like, instead of buying it from them right there, like with a card. And then you can also buy it, on other sites for a lot more discount. But,
so what's weird to me is like, if on some places you can buy it for 10 cents, and then through the render site you buy it for 25 cents, you know, like, when do you sell it? Can you sell it?
That's what I'm confused.
You know?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, you can trade it.
Right.
You know, it's traded out into another cryptocurrency, but like, I don't really know if there's like it's not like inching up in price. Like, it's not like, oh, I got into it when it was like 10 cents and it will soon be $25, because like then it makes no sense as a render token, because it's like all your time. It's dependent on a very physical like window of like you have to spend it to render.
What if it like, at what point? I don't think it would ever go above 25 cents. You know,
as a business model, you don't want that price to like go up, because then no one's going to be using you as a service. Like, you don't want it to shoot to 40,000.
Right.
So there's not much point really, I think, in holding it, which means
I don't understand enough. That's the thing,
anything,
is like,
it's probably just good to use it, you know.
Right. It's a very usable token, which is like what you don't see a lot in like crypto, like in like where you can like definitely see where it's used. I mean, cryptocurrency obviously is useful and is used for a bunch of stuff like the blockchain technology, but I think that render tokens like a very weird in between, where it's like, yes, this is futuristic and good, but I also don't get it for like people that are like in traditional cryptocurrencies. I don't really see a value for them of like mining all this render tokens, unless they do like a sell of them at like a different cost, like on their own.
Yeah,
like,
it's more about
to artists again
being able to use it for your own renders.
Right.
So
which makes sense, artist to artist, but I don't know if you're going to get these like huge places that were mining Bitcoin back in the day to like switch over to have like, cool for us, huge GPU power, but then like they don't really get much in return. I think it makes the most sense for like maybe like a studio who like, I don't know, back in the day there were like those huge CPU farms people would just like build into their studios. Like maybe if they start building like GPU mining things to cache all this render power for like jobs, but yeah, I'm not quite sure on the future of it. It's cool though. I like it.
Yeah. I wish I knew more about some of the charts and how these charts and graphs work, because I have some really cool Bitcoin programs, but I don't know what half of it even means. And but it was extremely easy, because we've been talking to our friends a lot about it the last few days, especially like on text and things and group chats, and it's so easy to set up. Nice hash 5
Yeah.
minutes, bam, you're making money. That's it. And like with the
Yeah.
mobile app on there, you can check your temperatures remotely. You can look at your different rigs. You can start and stop them, change the power. It's really great how they all work. And you can even go into the preferences and manage like your profitability as opposed to power costs and everything else. So like you can put in your price per kilowatt hour. It'll turn it on and off based on where, if it takes a dive and your profit margins are going down for mining, it'll actually shut it off for you. It's
Yeah.
pretty great.
It's cool. It's neat.
Yeah.
What I think NiceHash is doing, it's not mining Bitcoin specifically. It's actually mining other coins and then paying you for those coins
Oh,
in
okay.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
And as an artist, it's something great because you've got GPUs stacked up. You might as well use them. And if your office is cold, you can turn it on.
Yeah.
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 I
Right.
did that this weekend. It was great.
Yeah. I just opened the window. I opened my window and then I just ran my ran the NiceHash miner all weekend.
Yeah, same.
This is the
'Cause it
first time they've been
snowed.
off in probably like 4 days.
Yeah. Well, it snowed here, so we were able to just open our windows and which is-
Quote unquote
yeah.
snowed.
It snowed for Texas.
Yeah, do you guys get
Yeah.
like inches of snow,
Did-
or is it just like a dusting?
Dave did.
We
Dave
got about
got
an inch here.
yeah, but it's
First
and-
time
and
in
they
6
don't.
years.
It's not. It's not dusting like up north. Up north, when you snow, it's like as weird as it's like a dry snow, to where it
Powdery.
sticks and like it's not. Yeah, it's powdery, right? Versus down here, it's wet and just gross.
The moment you
know?
try and form it into something, it hardens and won't even turn into a ball. It's just like dumping
Yeah.
a snow cone on
it's
the ground.
ice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just slush.
Weird.
When it's
Yeah, sludge,
Yeah.
kind of like side of the street, like pile up
Side of the
stuff.
street pile up.
Yeah.
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 Just- yeah.
I-
We went for a holiday like back up to Michigan from New York, and then like quarantined, and then like we're able to like distance see family up there, and like while we were up there it was like projected like 4 inches, then like the next day was like 2 feet of like snow covering everything. It's just like it happens like so fast, and then everything is just like covered in snow. There's ice everywhere. But yeah, I would assume that wasn't happening in Texas, but
No,
It's crazy
I'd love
that you
to
guys do get snow.
experience that at
Yeah.
least once.
it is
Like
pretty.
I think the most we've gotten is probably like 6 inches or 8 inches or something at one point.
We get a lot less than we did when we were kids. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed. Used to be every year you would get something
Mm-hmm.
at least once or
Every
twice.
year you'd get at least 1 to 2.
Those
you
little
know?
ice storms that would blow through, but they just don't happen
Yep.
anymore.
They don't happen anymore. No.
Yeah.
You guys both been in Texas your whole lives, or no?
Pretty much.
I wasn't born here, but I got here as
Fast
fast as I could.
Derp, bumper sticker. Yeah. Same thing. I got here
Yeah.
when I was 3 and
Same here. Yeah.
But I have one more link in the Ravcock section. Actually, I wanted to talk about, and it's an in-life thrill thing. It's been around for a little bit, but it just came up as a discussion in the Facebook group for Ariev's course because they were talking about. They just happened to get on this topic of why you would use one kind of emission with Gaussian spectrum and noise and things instead of another, instead of just putting a straight up RGB spectrum. There's RGB spectrum, Gaussian spectrum. So it's an in-life thrill article on the comparison and why you would use them. And so I just thought it would be good to link that in there. It's been fun seeing some of the renders that are coming through in the course and seeing some really great artists' work. And but let's get to Isaac and talk about Isaac.
To me,
Let's get to you. And let's talk about your background a little bit for those who aren't familiar with you and your background. Did you go to school for this? That's always our first question because you never know.
kind of.
Yeah.
I went to school in like a major and it was just called like digital media. And they didn't really know what it was, and like neither did we, but like the artwork and like that's kind of all you had to go off. Like the artwork on the walls as you walked through like the campus was like, oh, like it looked cool and there was cool stuff happening, but like the more I got into it, it was very much a certain route of like Photoshop, like character drawing for like Flash animation, and like that was like the path.
Okay.
So it was like very like they kind of brushed up on stuff, and like there would be like a course. Like I had to learn Flash, but like in the Flash course, they also like hinted that you could use like After Effects for a lot of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, this kind of looks cool. So like I would
Yeah.
rather just like do my projects in that. And then like we learned like
That was a good
Lightwave
choice.
for 3D, and I was like, ooh, I've heard a lot about like cinema, so I'll just use cinema and like use that for all the courses. So like all the teaching wasn't really there. It was just kind of there to like assign projects, and then I would do
Right.
them in like a program that I wanted to, because it was like pretty loose. It was a pretty small school still. So like it was like maybe 1,000 kids total for like my year, and then like even smaller in the digital media department. So yeah, it was a lot of like them kind of loosely setting up the structure, and then I would like figure out what I wanted to do inside of it, and then like later towards like graduations, like I got a lot of like independent studies where it's like I would just do like go sit with one teacher and like come up with a course for like that credit, and then go do like a project for it. So yeah, kind of a mix. A lot of online learning, definitely from like YouTube and stuff, and then like Grayscale Gorilla to like learn cinema in like the early days of using like a ripped copy of R12, I think.
Right.
So
It's when
yeah,
Mograph first came out, I believe.
yeah.
Mograph,
So
yeah.
definitely, yeah, self-taught from the internet, but with a structure from actually going to classes and stuff. So
Yeah.
kind
It's
of a
cool
mix.
that you were able to choose your own software, you know?
Right, yeah,
Like
'cause,
choose your own
they were pretty
adventure, you
loose
know?
about it. Yeah, and I definitely think that's like a very niche or like specific experience, because I definitely think that like that's not what you should do if you're going to like SCAD or something. And there's definitely talented people that
Yeah.
can teach you the right programs, and like you don't have to like figure it out as much on your own.
Yeah.
But if you like kind of know what you want to do, it is nice to find maybe a smaller school that will give you a little bit more leeway in
Yeah.
like shaping what you want to.
It's
learn.
almost like they're teaching theory, you know? The theory about the different
Yeah.
stuff, and then you're finding the right program that works for you. I like that.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that was like a lot of my other classes. Like they still make you go through like color theory, and then like a lot of graphic design classes, and like type and all that. So it's like this was all more for my specialized part of my classes, but there was still like a ton of like just the standard art school, like a figure drawing class or like a perspective drawing class. Like
Yeah.
you still had to go through those in like your beginning years, which I think is really good, because like someone said, I don't know, but like you have to know the rules before you can like start to break them. And so
Yeah.
like forcing everyone to get this base knowledge of like design theory, it's definitely something that like you won't really probably seek out yourself until maybe later on in your career to like look up on YouTube. Like you'd obviously go for like the cool tutorial that like makes you make like shiny spheres or something, versus like color theory. Like that's not an interesting video to like teach
Right.
yourself from the internet. So it's good to maybe go somewhere that will like make you get a good base.
For sure.
So you.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was gonna say, just so what was it about that drove you towards Cinema 4D specifically? Like why, if you're studying all this other stuff, what was it
Right.
about that made you want to pursue that as a career?
Yeah, I think the reason I picked that was just like my roommate, not Aaron Covret. He was my roommate at the school. We had another roommate also named Aaron, who was there, and he was using it from some other stuff, and he was just showing us all like how cool it was. And it just basically off that, I was like, cool, like I can find like, that was the other thing, like finding tutorials that like made sense and were presented well. Like a lot of them for like Maya or other things were just like super like mundane, or just like not presented like in a fun way, because I came from like, I used to make logos in like PowerPoint, and then like someone's like, you should really use like Illustrator. That's what you're trying to use, but you're
Yeah.
using PowerPoint. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll get like Illustrator. And with that, I got like my parents to get me like the whole Creative Suite for like my birthday.
Nice.
And so like there was all these other programs that were just kind of like always listed there. And I saw like
Yeah.
After Effects and Illustrator, and I was like, oh, Illustrator like works with After Effects pretty well. Like, oh, I can do some stuff in there. And then like all the effects and stuff. And then I found Andrew Kramer and like Video Copilot, and like that way of presenting like learning and like tutorials was like super like the best I had seen from like a lot of people. And I felt like Grayscale Gorilla had that same kind of
Yeah.
presentation. And so it just like clicked to like, oh, I can like learn from this person super easy. And I just like didn't really look at any other programs. And I think it was the easiest one to rip at the time.
It was
Like a lot of people were ripping like
That's funny.
Cinema 4D, and not many people were ripping the other ones, or like ripping them well, I guess. And
Right.
so
And it was
yeah,
a Mac
tisk.
program too. There.
yeah, I
a
had
lot
it on my
yeah.
laptop too. It was like safer to get those kind of things on Macs because people didn't spend the time to like make all the viruses for them. But yeah, definitely don't do that because they have a great student subscription that you can get and go that route.
It's what, like $4 or something like that? I don't remember. It's cheap.
If you can show your like student ID.
Yeah. I think there was something different, like $4 or something. You're basically just paying the processing fee for education. I don't know.
But yeah. I just, after a couple of years in school, I just emailed them. I was like, "Do you have one of these?" They're like, "Yeah." You just have to like send us a student ID and like have your teacher for the class like sign off on it. So I was able to do that after and like get it on like school machines and stuff, which is super cool of them. I mean, the only like nothing's watermarked or anything. You can do everything else. It just like has a warning that pops up saying it's from the student license. And so if you are a student, you should go that route and not try to pirate it.
Yeah, I hear that a lot about the Adobe suite, about people kind of, it's like trickle down effect, you know, you start on one and then the other ones kind of fall into place and you realize they're all kind of similar, and it's a gateway drug, right?
Yeah.
But you're into other stuff too, like you do Houdini and stuff too now, right?
Yeah, that's kind of, once I got into like cinema, just using that for like a long time was like fun to like explore and like learn in. And then I think from that, the other like first outside of that thing I literally jumped to was like different render engines, because like when I got into it, like the king of them was like V-Ray, but it was like way too expensive, and I couldn't figure out a way to get a trial to work, and so I just like skipped it completely and just learned like physical renderer inside of Cinema, because it was like it came with it. And then after a while, Octane like had like a free trial you could download, just had like a watermark, and so like that was like the craziest thing at the time. On my tiny little laptop, I could like see a real-time picture of like what I was rendering. I was like, this is insane.
Do you know how long I had that? You know how long I had the sample of Octane render? About 5 minutes. Because literally I was like, nope, I'm buying this now. As soon as I saw that real-time viewport, almost real-time viewport.
My student budget did not jump as eagerly to that. I was like, that's cool. I'll just run with free stuff for as long as I can.
Gosh, what version was that? That was version 2, right? That we started on, Dave?
Octane 2, yeah.
Octane 2. Yeah. That was when they introduced animation instead of just still frames. Yeah.
Was it? Jeez.
That's funny. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we had no idea, even when we were using it, me and my classmates, that like it was dependent on the GPU. Like we knew it said it was GPU, but like we didn't know that's why it was like crashing our little tiny MacBooks, because like they just had nothing in there really as far as like GPU is like the least amount of power it could use, and so it would just like glitch out and crash. I was like, this thing's cool, but it's like super glitchy. And so it's like, you should put an eGPU into it. And I was like, oh yeah, I should. And then like I ran with that for like a little bit, and then like fully switched just to go to PC, because everyone's like, look at, you can just like build this thing for like a couple $100, throw a ton of like expensive stuff in it, and then it works like amazingly fast. And I always saw that one like there's like a tunnel with like a Greeble box, and like this guy had like, I think at the time like 4 1080s, I think was like no, he had Titans, and he was almost like real time. As soon as he paused like looking around this box, it like immediately like was a finished render. I was like, that's the way to go. We just need to have PCs. And so you know, mates like built one for like VR but also rendering, and after that I was just like, which is, I like Apple, but not enough to like stay on that really weird ecosystem for like rendering and everything.
That's the best thing. You build that system for rendering, and then you got all that fun gaming gear and VR gear and everything else, right?
And streaming gear. It's so weird how like for a job like our jobs, we have to build this thing, and then it essentially is like the peak of like, you know, if you want to game on it, it's like the best gaming machine. If you want to like do live streaming, you have that as well. It's like just everything else that kind of comes with it, and we just have it for our jobs, which is always funny to explain to people. It's like, well, I already had it, so it's like only a couple $100 to like get a camera. Now it's like a streaming setup. It's like intertwined, like it's covers everything.
There's also a piece of software I was curious if you use. Now a lot of people have been using this, and you don't hear them talk about it much. I think it's called Blender. You never hear anybody talk about it.
No,
they never talk about it when they use it.
No,
you use Blender.
I've opened Blender. I have it in my dock, and I accidentally open it all the time because like I have it right next to Cinema, and like every time I open it, at least it opens really fast, so I can close it quickly. I don't know. I've opened it and like I definitely see where all these
Yeah.
people are coming from,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I'll watch a video, I'm like, dang, that is really smart, and
Yeah.
like that is a cool way to build it, and I just can't bring myself to like stick with like being inside of it for too long because it's just like I don't know. I'm just so much more comfortable in cinema at this point that like if you're starting out, for sure check it out because it's free and like it's really good and it's getting way closer to being like industry standard for a lot of stuff. I heard it's like already that for modeling and everything, but it's just such a backwards way of thinking for like a lot of other stuff that you've kind of been ingrained in like how to think about stuff. So at this point I've just kind of like given up that maybe I'll pick it up someday if I want to like replace another program with it, but like at this point Cinema I'm fine with, and Houdini.
Yeah.
Like I've if I would have maybe picked Blender over learning Houdini, maybe that would have been a good choice, but like now that I'm fairly confident in Houdini and Cinema, like there's not a lot where I'm like, oh, I need a program that can do this thing, and like Blender is the program, just because I've accidentally backed myself into that corner of like knowing how to use like 6 different other separate applications for like what would have been good in Blender. I don't know. Do you guys ever watch the lazy tutorials that like Ian Hubert, I think, makes them?
No.
He's like a
I
big.
don't think so.
I'll see if I can send you Twitter. But he like gave a talk about like all this crazy, really well done Blender stuff that he does for like set extensions and like green screening people onto stuff, and he has like photogrammetry tricks and stuff. And when he explains it, I'm like, wow, yeah, everyone should use Blender because it's like so easy. But kind of if you know how to use it, like if you had the entire knowledge of like all of your Maxon knowledge and all your other program knowledge funneled into Blender, then yeah, it would like you wouldn't need to go anywhere else. But that's a huge undertaking, I think, for a lot of people to just like erase like years of memory of like all these other things that they've like learned just to like get something that's like maybe 10% more future proof. I don't see a lot of people doing that.
I have it just in case I need it for something, but for me, I'm lucky enough to barely even get into Cinema nowadays because I'm just doing Mograph stuff, you know?
Yeah. I got to a point, you know, I liked learning. I don't know. I was a software aficionado. I enjoyed, you know, dabbling in all these different render engines and different software and stuff. And we have a lot of stuff. And I got to a point where I'm like, I've just got to call it quits. I'm not going to learn Blender. You know, there's no reason for me to learn Blender. If I'm going to, and this is me, you know, if for any reason I ever left Cinema 4D, it would probably go to learn Maya or something like that. Something quite a bit more industry standard than Blender.
Is it because it feels like too much of a sideways move? Is that...
It does. I mean, yeah, it's like, why would I learn another 3D software when this 3D software does exactly what I need? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I think that it only makes sense if you're like planning to knock out 2 programs that you're paying for now and go with the free one. Like, yeah, definitely that's like a good call because like you could cover your ZBrush, Rhizome, Houdini, and Cinema. If you really wanted to like go out, you could cross all those out, never pick them up again, and go with Blender. If you want to take the undertaking of like learning everything you know in those ones, like probably even like Substance Painter. I haven't seen anyone do like insane work, but like it seems like it's slowly, like because of the nature of how like open source it is and how much people can just like all of a sudden there can be a whole like add-on that like totally changes like how people can use it. I think that it's like it has huge potential, but it's just like I don't know. Yeah, it would seem like a sideways move if you jump from Cinema over to Blender because like they are both really great tools that are like not, you know, for film industry standard. Like they're not really what's on the call sheet for like someone that needs to come in and do like look dev work on a film like that. Like scale, they're just like both not quite recognized yet. I mean, especially because Cinema's not really going for that market, but like if Blender wanted to, I'm sure you could get the work done. It's just like if they're not asking for Blender artists, like it doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah.
But for freelance, maybe,
Blender is almost always my first recommendation for any time someone wants to learn.
Kind of dabble in 3D for the first time.
You know, hey, check out Blender. Blender's free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it is a nice option to have that now. Yeah, I think that it's good. I mean, a lot of the stuff does seem to be familiar. Like when people are explaining how some stuff works, it like does seem to follow the right. Like it's not wasted time if you learn Blender and then want to go on to a different program. But
right,
yeah, it's
because
a
the
good
knowledge
starting
is still
point.
there.
Right.
You know, you're learning basics and techniques versus
that
how
grease
to press a
pencil
button.
though.
Yeah,
That is
that's
a very
pretty nice.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and they had the like box cutter plugin was like with them at first, but it seems like a lot of times like when it's introduced somewhere first, but then like after a little bit everyone kind of integrates it. Like Marvelous
Right.
Designer had a huge chunk of the market because they could do like that cloth sims at real time. Then like within the updates, like Houdini updates, and they have like a cloth brush, and Vellum is like already super far advanced, and then ZBrush at the same time. It's like, oh, you were biting off that chunk of our market. Cool, we'll just add it in, and now we have a cloth brush in here. So it's like, I don't know. It's great for us because everyone's going to be getting all these additions to their stuff, but to kind of like bank your entire software on one, it's like, I don't know if that's like worth it.
So what kind of projects are you working on right now, and what types of software are you using for them?
Right now I am on vacation.
Nice.
So no projects right now. Yeah, I didn't take like any vacation all of last year just because I just like wanted to keep renewing contracts and like keep the momentum going because the year was so unforeseen. So at the end I was like, wow, I haven't taken any vacation. So like after Christmas I was just like, I'm just going to take, because no one knows what they're doing in January. No company ever like has anything set in stone. So I'm just like, I'm just going to take that time that I was already going to not have any work and just call it an official vacation. But before that, I was with a studio here freelancing almost all of the 2020 at which was Perception. They're here in New York and they work with Marvel a lot. They do a lot of FUI stuff. So I was working with them on a bunch of NDA stuff. Can't talk about.
Yeah. Same. We've never been able to post anything we've ever done with them.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah.
You know,
it's sad.
But
so
who's there
lots
now?
of stuff.
John is there.
John's
right?
still there, right?
Yeah, Johnny reached out on Twitter like 2019, I think. It was like, hey, I like your stuff. You should like, get in contact with some of our producers here. It would be like a good fit. And then like scheduling never quite worked out. Before them, I was at Imaginary Forces doing some freelance work with their LA office. More stuff that is NDA and not released. But yeah, and then it eventually clicked, and then it was easy just to renew with them. They have all sorts of projects going on over there, so it was fun. But yeah, Johnny, Doug, those guys are still there doing stuff. Johnny's who I worked with most, and then a bunch of other freelancers. Worked with Billy. On the last one, he was there, and that's kind of the project that I ended before went on vacation. But yeah.
So what are you going to do when you come back? Are you getting back to freelance or?
Yeah, kind of figuring out the like first hold, second hold dance with a bunch of places. Coming back into the new year, but probably going to be sticking freelance for the most of this year. Liked it last year, like the kind of, you can change, like if you're on a project and like you don't really want to be anymore, you can kind of just like wrap it up and then like not have to do anything more. Whereas like, I don't know, I've done staff stuff too. You're always like cleaning up after freelancers once they leave, and like all the revisions that are coming in after they've left. So freelance life has been pretty good.
Billy says
That's
he's
good.
Fingers crossed working on trying to show stuff.
I think we got a green light that we can show some of that stuff that we worked on together, but haven't figured out a way to present that yet. But maybe if Billy comes out with something.
Show stuff if you can, in order to get more gigs.
Yeah, it's fun working an entire year on awesome projects that you can't show on your reel at all.
I know,
right?
I know. Our entire year, we can.
Our entire year
we
last
can privately
year,
show it. We can talk in generalities about it, but it's like, man, oh well.
Yeah, last year was my first time like being on like a feature film project, and like that just, I wasn't like used to how like locked down those projects are, and like we were at like a point where it's like no like internet access for anyone that was working on it like during the time, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah,
I did a bunch of work for Samsung back in the day. Anytime they have a new device coming out, and they would make you be in a clean room, quote unquote clean room, where it's like you go into their place, they have all the assets there. Anything that you take in, you have to leave until the announcement. So if you're working on a computer, you have to leave that computer there. You can't have your cell phone on. You can't do anything. Can't even bring in hard drives or thumb drives or anything like that.
So when you're rendering, you just have to sit there instead of scrolling through Reddit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what you would do is you would hit render, and then you'd walk out into the non-clean room and then just surf the internet there.
Get on TikTok there.
Right.
Speaking of which, you're on TikTok a little bit, right?
You were the first person I followed on TikTok.
Oh, I feel honored. Yeah, I was on TikTok. Me and my wife broke down early quarantine. We're like, we should just... Because for a long time, we were like, TikTok's dumb. It will never be Vine. It's just a bunch of kids. Because, I mean, we knew about it from, like, Musical.ly, which is what it was before it was TikTok, which was, like, specifically a, like, lip-syncing app. And I was like, that's dumb. I don't like this. This is not cool. And so I was, like, never downloading it. And then it, like, switched to TikTok. I was like, never going to do it. It's not funny. And then, like... we were just so bored that we're like, maybe we should just, just for fun, just as like a joke. And then we downloaded it. And now we're stuck with it because it's super funny at this point. Like, it's definitely like, there is one side of like TikTok that like is still like the old, like kind of cringy stuff that like people post, but like now, oh my gosh, there's me. Wow.
Oh my gosh. I loved that one. I loved that one.
And there's so many of these like weird TikTok memes. I was like, oh, I could think of 1,000 of these for the Mograph community.
Yeah.
And there's Mograph memes on like Instagram who is like doing, traditional ones, but yeah, these ones are like, oh, I could do it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because there's just such a different amount of like
it's got a different vibe.
Ground to play with.
Than just like memes. It's like those really meta TikTok memes.
Yeah, these make no sense without the audio.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Now you just get to watch me dance.
We'll link them for sure.
Yeah, go watch all of those ones. But yeah, it was super fun. And then after a while, I was like, I don't know, I just like wasn't coming up with any good ones. So I was like, I'll just leave it out there for people to enjoy.
Did you get a bunch of hits? Like, what was your biggest hit?
My biggest one is like this slime render that I had posted before, but I just like tagged it as oddly satisfying, and people go nuts for that kind of stuff on the internet. So I think that one has like 200,000 views or something.
Nice.
Not as big as a hit. It's like down. It's on the pedestal.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Mixing animations.
Ooh.
Little gooey guy.
That's subsurface dough.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see how people respond to the 3D stuff on TikTok. It's very different from Insta or whatever.
Yeah. It's
I've always said it has to be catered to TikTok. It can't just be a port over from something else.
Yeah.
Right. And like a lot of people, like, I don't know, it's like it doesn't matter as much. Like Instagram is like still like people will care about like, oh wow, what a photorealistic render. But like on TikTok, it's like you're going for like shock, awe, like comedy. Something. Yeah, it's like not really there for like a huge animation piece. I've seen a lot of people like 3D like put into like footage, like I think goes over the best. Like,
yeah, it does.
Because people don't like get like caught up on the fact that it's like a fully 3D piece, but like a lot of those like Lupin ones that were like really popular on Instagram, I've seen a lot of those do well. But yeah, not very much the stuff that I like put like a still won't really go over very well. But yeah, the ones I figured out, it wasn't like the best platform for like portfolio pieces. I was like, I'll just put memes on here, and for the very small niche audience that there is on TikTok for that. Because like there's like no one, like I like originally I was like, oh, I'll go follow people. The first person I followed I think was like Beeple was like on TikTok before. I was like, oh wow, he's like already here. And was just putting all his little animations up there. Which that's been crazy to see that stuff. It's a little detour from TikTok, but like all of his crypto stuff back into that conversation a little bit. That was insane. I was trying to, I don't remember when he did that, but like since then, if like he didn't take any of that stuff out from the sales, like that's almost double.
Didn't. He got. I'm pretty sure he got paid in cash. He didn't get paid in Ethereum.
What a bummer. Because like that Ethereum collected then if you just held it, that's like doubled at this
Yeah,
point.
he would have. I think he would have gone from 3 million to 8 million.
Yeah.
I think
Oh
someone
my
was
just
saying.
insane.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I had a weird like crypto tweet where I was looking at the lowest point that you could have bought Bitcoin at, which was like in 2017. You could get it for 6 cents, which was like a glitch crash. It wasn't supposed to be that low, but it was that low. You could buy it.
Wow.
And if you bought $100 worth of that in April of 2017, you would have 56 million right now
Oh my God.
from that
Don't
buy,
talk to
which
me
is
about that.
which is just a
You know,
fun little.
I feel bad about it too because I used to listen to some really nerdy tech podcasts about networking and IT and all of this just because. And years ago, I was hearing about this. Years ago. And I just kept thinking, oh, maybe I should check that out. And I never did. And I would have millions of dollars now.
I always wanted
me-
to mine Dogecoin.
That's like almost as high as it's ever been, right now. I think the
Is it?
Doge, it's like at a cent, I think, officially.
Oh yeah, 1 cent.
Yeah. Highest it's ever been is
Can you
2
actually
cents.
trade it on
It's a
Robinhood?
Doge world.
I don't know if you can trade it. I don't know where you could get it,
Yeah.
but
I might get into Ethereum a little more. I gotta understand. I need to find a good resource that teaches you how to read these charts. That's my big thing. Like,
the
there's all
candle
this-
wicks, and
Yeah.
stems and sticks, and
Yeah,
wanna
it
I don't know.
did.
Every
all the
time I do
January.
it,
Yeah, just a couple days ago, it went up to 1 penny.
Every time
Wow.
you do it, what?
the crazy thing is, about the every time I do it,
Yeah.
like I draw my own line. I'm like, yeah, this is great, but then I'm like, am I even drawing this line correctly? Is this like actually how this trend is going, or am I just like, because you can pick. It really depends on which wicks you really pick, and
Yeah.
so you could pick good ones or bad ones, and I just don't know like the logic in picking which one of those are supposed to be going with. But yeah, the Doge is kind of crazy. I did the same thing of looking at like the lowest Doge has been if you put $100 buy, and you only
You
really
can
make
buy
like.
Dogecoin on Robinhood.
Can you really?
I would
Oh,
suggest probably
man.
not doing it now. It's like almost all-time high, but
Oh man, it's only
gotta
up
get it
from
for-
here
Ah,
to the moon,
to
right?
the moon. That's what Kevin just said.
going
in
up to
chat.
100.
Yeah. It's great.
What makes me really sad is there was an article talking about how Square did like a huge, I think like $50 million buy of Bitcoin,
Mhm.
like in the middle of the year, and how that like has doubled for them. I was just
Wow.
like, they're not the people that need to be doubling their money.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's crazy that they can do that big of a buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like they're really making bank off these like huge bull runs.
That's quite a gamble.
Yeah. Well, I
It
mean, like, okay, so this is what I've been looking at as far as mining, right? So it's like I'm mining right now.
Mhm.
I was up to like $175, you know, and then it started going down, down, down. Now it's down to like 158. But all of that is quote unquote free money. I'm spending like $1 to get like $10, you know, or whatever. It's just all about my time and my resources
Yeah.
on my computer.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if the price goes down to like 10 grand again, you know, then it's like I still have money, you know, that I only spent, you know, pennies on the dollar to get. It's just not as
Not
much.
worth as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually it'll go up again, and if I ever want to sell it, I can.
So you've been streaming as well, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit because you were streaming. Well, you've got videos on your YouTube and things, but
Yes.
also you've been on Twitch and then like putting those onto YouTube as well. The Twitch streams that are interviews with different artists. So tell us a little bit more about that because you got quite a few on there.
Yeah. Some point in quarantine, I was like, I should be like doing interviews because I kind of like missed the, you know, being in like studio, the like flow in and out of different like freelancers and stuff was always fun because you would get to meet new people. And I was like, it's kind of like stagnant because can't really go anywhere. I'm working from home. So it was like, it'd be cool if there was like a place to like interview people that would be like a nice form of like soft networking, but also like a cool like catalog that I could like look back to and for the people that are on, because right before that I was on Ash Thorpe's the collective podcast, and it was cool because like when he asked me on, like I did like a lot of prep work and it was like thinking about different ways, because he kind of just has a pretty loose format of like talking about people, like where they started and like how they got to where they are in the industry. And I was like, that was like super fun for me personally to like do that prep work and be like, okay, this is kind of like how things connect in like my path of like where I got to where I am now. And it's like, that'd be fun for like other people, I'm sure. So if I like invite some people onto like a loose interview style kind of like stream, and then with chat from it being live streamed, they can ask their own questions. And so that's kind of like where it started. And then I was like, oh, I could also do like tutorials this way, like do them live and then not have to like really kind of do the editing process. Like I'll just plop it up as like a live stream. And if people want to go through, they can. And that proved like a little bit more difficult because I kind of had to like rework any project I did into like, how did I come up? Because a lot of times I'm just kind of like jamming on something, not really thinking about what I'm doing, and then it like I'll post it, and then people are like, "How'd you do that?" I was like, I don't really know, because it was like a lot of like trial and error. So coming up with like a streamlined way of doing it was like a little bit more work, and so it kind of just faded into just doing the interviews with people every weekend through 2020. I think I started in like September, and then did one every weekend until this past December, and then went on break. Hopefully, going to kick them up this year, just probably on a less frequent schedule. But yeah, it was super fun. Had a bunch of people kind of from our industry, like Cornelius, Raphael, so those kind of people. But then also some hometown friends that I like went to art school with that are not specifically in like 3D, and then some other people from some other industries, just as like other people that I follow that I personally like wanted to like interview and like get to know them better. So it's kind of cool that you can kind of just disguise like a friendly catch up, like, or get to know someone better as like a interview, and everyone's down for it, which is a nice way to like softly network.
It's been a great way for us to keep up with people over the last year in quarantine.
Sure. It's been one of my favorite things about doing the podcast is getting to meet all of these amazing artists, you know, who you look up to and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, cool. You know,
after Aryev is done with his course, you should hit him up, see if he'll come on once you get going again.
Yeah.
We did schedule it, and then he was doing stuff for the course, and he was like, oh, maybe next month. Maybe next month. And I was like, we can just do it next year. And he's like, yeah, that'd be way better than my thing will be out and everything. So it was, I just like DM'd a ton of people, like anyone I could think of. And I was like, would you want to? And like most people were like, absolutely. And I was like, oh, I wasn't thinking everyone would like want to do this. So now I have to have a whole big
no one has anything to do right now.
Everyone's like, absolutely, I'm down.
Yeah, because everybody has a camera and a microphone now too, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah, especially people in like 3D. I guess, everyone, because of like online meetings, I guess everyone's kind of all set up for it.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it was super fun. Hopefully gonna do more like maybe like working with people and do those, so it's like less of just like two faces chatting. Maybe someone will be like working on something and then do that live. But yeah, figuring out Twitch and everything was a huge learning experience of like how to live stream stuff. I thought it was like way more plug and play than it was, but like to do like a DSLR camera like I have, I had to get like a capture card stuff that like takes up a slot on the motherboard and everything, and so it was a lot more involved. But once it got going, it was a lot easier kind of towards the end to like get them going, because it was like in a rhythm, especially with like interviewing, was like kind of more familiar with like how to steer conversations around and like avoid dead space and stuff. So yeah, definitely got better at public speaking, I would think, because that's like something that the first time Maxon asked me to like do, I think it was like NAB New York, I was like freaking out because it was crazy. You guys run those ones. So I was like crazy nerves, like sick to my stomach like the whole week before presenting, and now I was like, I'll just force myself to do it like every weekend.
It definitely helps.
When I was in college, starting out, you know, we were on camera. We had to have someone who was on camera. So you'd have these people who just didn't mind being on camera. And like you had some people who were just devastated and like shaking the second they got in front of a camera. And by the end of the entire thing, it's just like, we don't care anymore. You know, no one cares. Put me on camera. I don't give a crap, you know?
So, yeah, nice learning experience. But, yeah, just more planning this year to kind of figure out time slots for everyone. But I will be doing more of them, just probably less frequently.
And you got
Yeah.
some other videos on there too, like your Lord of the Star Rings.
Yeah, that was something I made in college where and this was I would like to say this is before Andrew Kramer came out with Saber, like
Mhm.
maybe I would say 2 weeks before that came
Oh.
out. So I did this entire thing with like masks tracked onto footage and like keyframe animated for the whole sequence. And then like 2 weeks later he came out with Saber, which would have made this like maybe a 2-hour ordeal versus the like
really
multi-day thing. But yeah, that's like mostly what college was, like a ton of just like making these random videos that like taught soft skills kind of inside the software of like, like that one was like a lot of roto and like masking and stuff and like a little bit of comping, but like that's kind of where I like picked up most of my stuff was just like random personal projects. And then I forget who it was, but they claimed this video and have made bank off of it.
Oh, really? I better
yeah,
take it
like,
down though,
it was
because I'll
at-
get a copyright notice then.
Probably, yeah. I thought it would be under because I did like different sound design
It
too.
should be
Because
under
like
parody,
Yeah.
right?
I thought it was under free use but apparently I didn't. I put like a claim, like a reversal. I was like, hey, no, this is fair use. But then they came back and they're like, if you lose this claim again, you
Then
get like a
it's-
full official
yeah.
strike. And I was like, whatever. Have
Right.
my Star Wars Lord of the Rings video.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, lots of stuff like that in college of just like weird little things, but like having the ability to actually like make them. And so I was just like, oh yeah, I'll make this. At the time I thought it was original, and then I searched it on YouTube. I was like, oh no, thousands and thousands of people have done this, of putting lightsabers in Lord of the Rings. But yeah.
Do you have anything planned for next month when you kind of start getting back into things, like as far as maybe a short, or you doing dailies or anything?
Right now I'm in like the early stages of doing like more character creation stuff for a short, which will be I don't know if you guys have seen, but in Star Wars Rebels, which was an animated TV show, it shows the like fight scene where Death Maul, spoilers, gets killed by Obi-Wan like officially. It's like they catch up as like old men and have like a little really fast duel, and then Maul dies. So I'm in the process of making an Obi-Wan that would fit that, and then Darth Maul as well, and then going to kind of animate that whole section of that fight, but in like more of a realistic 3D.
That's
Hopefully.
a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because like it kind of takes the pressure of like having to think of like shots and like narration or story
Yeah.
and do more of all the technical stuff that I've never jumped into.
It's a good
for my
exercise.
first time at doing characters.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working, and I did a couple streams of like creating it that are up on my YouTube of like working in Character Creator 3. I don't know if you guys have heard of that program, but it's a
Creator
it's
3, no.
it's a cool program that like you start with base human body and you have a ton of sliders to like change it into however you want it to be, and then you can send it over to ZBrush to sculpt more like
Ooh.
intricate details onto it and come back. But the best part about it is like it's pre-weighted and everything. So it's like ready to go for animation. However you build this character, even if you sculpt on it, you still have like all these nice weights you can send it over, which makes it great for like mocap data or anything. So yeah, that's kind of the new process I'm going through.
That's
is
cool. So it's kind of like a like the building your character in a video game or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
That's rad.
It's meant for mostly real-time stuff because they have like a little plugin that sends it right over to Unreal for you to use these characters
Cool.
like right away. But it's like super detailed down to like all the texturing that you can do on a character. The only like kind of gotcha is like they're all like little plugin add-ons that you have to pay for if you want to like go that deep into it.
Yeah.
But some people have got like crazy results from it. If you can like render it, like a lot of these results on their page are done in their like real-time renderer. But if you send it over to like Octane or anything, all the maps come over when you export and everything. So
Nice.
it does work pretty well.
That's cool.
Ian Spriggs has recently got into it, doing his like crazy realistic renders of people. I don't know if you've seen that stuff.
Yes, I have.
But he does like insanely realistic celebrity ones, and he recently started like working with them through like a partnership of like a proper workflow where he sends it like and uses texture XYZ maps and stuff to like paint them on the people for like crazy high fidelity. But then it's all rigged and everything, so you can like do facial poses and stuff in their little editor, and it's pretty good. So if you can pair that with like your own mocap data, you can pretty easily do some nice animation without like a ton of the more technical like weight mapping and everything that people have to normally get caught up on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
How much is
interesting? I'm gonna look in this. We're doing a lot of character stuff right now.
Yeah,
so
I think the stuff that it's like around 300 for like the base, and then like there's some texturing plugins that you can get on. I think when I like checked out with like a couple plugins, they have a couple bundles on their thing. It was like $700, which like really it wasn't too terribly bad because it's perpetual, so it's like you just pay once and you get the updates with it.
Complete
and then
3D character design and animation bundles, $990.
And that one, I think there's a separate program. So like Character Creator 3 makes the characters, and then you can send it over to their other animation software, which is iClone, which sends the character over, and you can like import mocap data from like Mixamo into this library, and like it has like a pretty nice like kind of all these different poses that you can do to people, and like different little widgets that will come up for like facial stuff. Their big selling point is that I think they have a thing for like iPhone stuff for face capturing, so you can do like
cool.
Set up your phone, live link it to it, kind of like Maxon had, but it comes with like the character controls. And the nice thing I like about their animation tool set is that it's like really smart keyframing blending through like different actions, so you can kind of do your like key poses, you'll soft blend, and then you can kind of do your like add your detail in kind of how you would like, or like how I do in like 2D keyframing of characters, how you like do the basic poses and you add in all the little details further. But yeah, it's
does it do like the blending kind of like motion like blending motion clips in cinema
kind of thing? But you can get like you can have like smart little things inside of it, so like it won't blend in a weird way, like feet will try to stay posed on the ground and stuff. It's definitely worth looking into. And my thing was like I just didn't want to go through Maya, which is like the big place to do character animation, because all this stuff go as like an export into Cinema. I think that's like all I want. So yeah, it's really cool. It definitely adds up with all the like little plugins that make you get, but it's a cool base. Olaf Bloomer's was the one who like put me onto this, because he was looking at it for a project, and he's like, you should get this if you want to do some character stuff. So it's like a nice cheat. Yeah.
Not bad.
If you don't want to go into Maya.
Yeah. Huh.
That is cool. Man.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out more.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on some stuff right now. We're designing some characters, and they're going to have voiceover, and I'm like, well, maybe we could figure that out. You know?
Yeah.
That is the cool thing. Yeah, you can send audio clips to that, and it will use the like mouth position like based off the audio to like rough in your lip sync. And then you can go in and like fine tune it. But I haven't seen anything that's like film quality that's come out from it, but a lot of people aren't really using it in like offline rendering. It's all real time examples really that I've seen. So I'm interested to see how far like I can push it with like getting a really good base character with like ZBrush and all the different texturing options, sending that over. I haven't really done much character animation, so it'll be interesting to see how much I can like use myself as reference to like match the footage and stuff for like all that different thing. But yeah, it's fun. That's what I kind of like using personal projects for, is like jumping into a totally new area that's like very uncomfortable and seeing like how much I can just like hack my way through it to like get an end result, and then maybe add that to the tool belt afterwards.
It's like however how easy it is to kind of jump into kind of like dictates, am I gonna dedicate more time to this? You know, am I really gonna get into some heavy character stuff or not? How hard is this? And it's kind of just a matter of, you know, what do I really want to dedicate my time to in general? Especially as a generalist. You know, I want to go down the character path, the particle path. There's a video in the links that John Ardeman put out. It's a face rig tutorial And the very first thing he says is, I've learned all this stuff about doing character design, and now I'm like really bad at particles. He's like, I have no more information or room left in my brain for that information. And
Right.
it's like, well, it's so I kind of judge stuff on that. Like, is it really easy to pick up within the first couple hours where you feel like, okay, this is a path I could go down, or am I just going to decide to hand it off to someone else or fake it a little? I don't know. Yeah, and I did want to talk about motivation versus discipline a little bit. And this is something I never really thought about. I saw a couple things on it this week, and it just made me think a little, because a lot of people are getting into dailies right now with the new year, and Beeple doing so well, and crypto art is kind of having this resurgence, and you have to have a lot of motivation to do things like that, but it's not just the motivation, because you can have motivation to do dailies. I'm motivated to do dailies, but it's the discipline that keeps you doing it. And I never thought about the difference, because the discipline is the hard part.
Yeah.
So it's like I did an 18-mile run this week, which was my highest so far. I'm still working through my run training, and it's not the motivation. I've had motivation to lose weight for years. It's like, I know what my motivation is. I have the motivation, but it's like, I pushed it this weekend. I really felt like I was running out of discipline, because that 18 was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Physically. And so nothing really happens until you motivate yourself and then find that discipline and do stuff consistently. So yeah, I don't know. Doing something like dailies takes discipline, because everyone has the motivation to do those dailies.
Yeah.
And they're ready to go, but discipline though. Beeple has discipline.
Yeah. 5,000 days in a row.
Yeah.
I love his 5,000 day one, where it's just some kid drawing, and it's got all of his weird characters behind him.
That was good.
So funny.
This is supposed to be him as a kid.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at Instagram all day too is definitely motivation.
Yeah.
To get into dailies or to do more renders, but a lot of people find it discouraging to look at that stuff.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, but it's like, why is that discouraging? Why do I look at that stuff and get discouraged? And not just because of what we talked about in the past, which is you're discouraged because you see everybody else doing it in bulk and you're not seeing all the hard work behind it. That's understandable. But I think people get discouraged too, because they have not been able to find that discipline.
Yeah.
They really want to do it. They're motivated. They just can't find the discipline. And discipline almost feels like it's a commodity.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I get that.
It's like your frustration is coming from the lack of discipline, and you have to decide what you're really going to put the discipline into every day, because like time or something. You only have so much time in a day. So how much time
I equate it the same to patience, like especially with two children, I only have a finite amount of patience throughout the day, before I lose my temper,
you lose your patience, and you don't want to lose your discipline.
Right. You don't want to lose your discipline. And it's like when you sometimes when you have so many more things going on in your life, it's hard to be disciplined to do, like, to go work out, there was like a year and a half in which I was working out every single day, and then I took a break because I had a very stressful project at work, and then I completely lost that discipline,
right?
Of going every single day.
Yeah. And I look down at my man boobs and I say, yeah, I'm motivated to work out, but ding.
Sometimes that is the motivation that gets you to that discipline.
To the discipline.
I know the scale sometimes, or the fear that NAB is coming very soon. Yeah. That's my motivation.
Yeah.
To lose weight.
Yeah. If you really want to make something happen, you've got to make a conscious decision to dedicate some of that precious commodity, so to speak, into that thing. And that's I mean, how about Rev? He's watching right now. But we'll be playing Halo.
Yeah, we were
and
playing last night.
He'll stay on the party chat and just listen and talk to us because he has to go do his render. There's some dedication there, you know?
Yeah.
So
I don't think I've met other people that play Halo still. I feel like everyone's left it because it's such an old game, but
oh man,
it's good to know that other people still play Halo.
You play?
Do you
play
play
Halo 5?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, dude, we
man.
need to add you to
We have
the
a
Halo chat.
huge group. We have
We
like
have a big-
15
yeah.
people in our
Oh,
group.
wow.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well,
Yeah, I go and it's always like a constant. It's in between like that and then like Call of Duty, Black Ops, the new one, the Cold War.
some of those
That
guys
was
have been
good.
playing it on our little
Yeah.
crew. We'll hook you up and put you in our group chat after. It's called
think
Halo Kitty.
Yeah, we stopped talking about politics yesterday after my plead for all of us to stop
Yeah,
talking
no-
about
no
politics.
that's where we're going to get
Because
away from the politics.
The problem
Halo.
is like, you know, I had to start muting my phone because I was getting so many notifications, and then I'd miss the notification for that's, hey, anyone want to
Wanna
play Halo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we decided to take it somewhere else. Do a separate group for that. So yeah, you got to join us on there. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Let's go to some links real quick. Number one, I wanted to give a little shout out to.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. What?
I was gonna say before the links, do you have the thing about my boxes in there?
Oh, boxes. Okay, let's talk about some boxes.
That's very good. It's a good topic.
Good
It's a
discussion,
good topic
yeah.
because I would like to know. I would like to ask the chat and Isaac. I would like to ask everyone. How long do y'all hold on to boxes? like I've got. I
Like
have
good boxes or
like,
like
I've
just
cleared
any
out
box?
two
that's
closets.
a
I have
good
two
question,
closets
Matt.
worth of just like of cool boxes,
Product
like
boxes,
all
right?
my old
Not Amazon
iPhone
boxes.
No, not just
Okay.
Amazon, but not just straight cardboard boxes. But like, I mean, it's a cool box, you know. It's like all the iPad boxes are cool, and like, you know, the motherboard boxes are cool, and I keep all of my stupid 3090 boxes.
Yeah, I saw
and,
the
like,
meme going around this week of I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can go ahead and throw away that box from your iPhone. Yeah.
It's like I saw there was a TikTok where a guy was like, he's like, I think the hardest decision you'll make as an adult is whether or not to keep that box, because it's a pretty good box, you know. And it's like I've got I've got a Switch, you know. I've got two Switches now since we got my kid one for Christmas, and it's like, do I hold on to both of those boxes? I mean, they're good boxes. You know,
I'll put in my 2 cents on this because I have been made fun of for keeping boxes for way too long. But after moving, I've done a little bit better. There's still stuff I keep, but I'll tell you, I do keep graphics card boxes. And because they're small enough, I can put stuff in them, and I can, like, if I want to sell it later, I kind of keep them tucked somewhere. But some of these big boxes, come on. And there was a time I had like all the boxes for like the Mac Pro and all the laptops I've ever bought and all the giant boxes of Apple software, Logic and Final Cut Pro, and the books I'm never going to look at because they're in PDF form. I've generally come up with a rule that if it's something that I might need to take somewhere, like for example my audio interface, I might need to pack that and put that in a box. Take it with us somewhere. I'll keep it, but with let's say I get my power supply that I just got the other day, and I open it up and I take it out. If there's anything in that box that I need, like cables, because like a power supply, right? You're gonna get all the extra cables, and at some point you're gonna need that one weird 4+2 pin thing that goes to some other thing and splits out, right? And okay, you got to keep all of that gack somewhere, so that's understandable. But if you got something else, I don't know, what do I have around here? The box that my Nest smoke detector came in.
Right, I've got all my Nest stuff.
Right,
it's like, I mean, those are cool boxes.
No, throw it out.
And what happens when I move? If I move Like, you better believe I'm taking all my Nest stuff
and
with
you're gonna
me.
pack it up all neat in that box that it's not gonna fit in anyway because you don't have all the foam things in there, right? You took no, throw it out.
I don't know. I like what Jason said in the chat. I keep boxes. I know I might resell the product. You know,
Yeah.
I like that. So I mean, that gives me a good idea. It's like, okay, so I got to keep my GPU boxes because I may sell those later. You know, I may keep the motherboard boxes, but my little box for. But what about my box for like the Nintendo SNES Classic? You know, I mean, that's a cool box.
I don't know.
That's
tough. The thing is, like, when I take something out of a box, I take out all the packaging, all the, the CD that you can't use because you don't even have a drive.
Right.
I unwrap everything. I take all the components out, and then I put all the little pieces of plastic and the tape and the wire ties and all the things back into the box right away. Because everything's out, you just throw that box away and you're done. You put it in recycle, give back to Mother Nature.
I like what Blue said. You're just trying to tell yourself to keep that box.
Yeah. Let go, man. It's a psychological thing.
It is.
Yeah. You're holding on.
And I've also got like I was cleaning out my closet in my media room because I finally ran an HDMI. I've been wanting to do this since I moved into the house. Run an HDMI cable to the TV, and then run it all the way into my closet.
What up, Windbush? Sorry, he just a wild Windbush appeared.
I've got an outlet in my closet so that I can run like my PC, my gaming PC, and my Xbox, and my printer and all this other stuff. And so now it's not in there. It's just in the closet. It's you don't see it. And so, but I have all these old, like, I've got Rock Band, like Beatles Rock Band for PS3. And it's like, one, I didn't hook up my PS3. So do I really need Rock Band for PS3, or should I just get rid of it? And if I get rid of it, do I throw it in the trash? Do I sell it on eBay? Do I go and get $4 from GameStop for it?
Put it on the lawn and say free stuff and it will be gone. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Billy says if you keep those boxes, you're the same type of person who keeps the potions in 100%. Case I need them in a video game.
The person who keeps the potions in case I need them in a video game. Absolutely. And then you end up beating the game because, with all these extra potions.
I don't know. The longer you keep them, man, the harder it's going to be to get rid of them. That's the thing. If you throw it away right away, it won't get sad. There's that thing in your head that says this thing's going to be sad because you're throwing it away. Don't tell me you've never thought of that.
Right?
Yeah. You got to move the plates from the bottom of the stack when you're doing dishes to the top because they're going to get sad because you never use them.
Oh, okay.
It's gone through your head before.
You think inanimate objects are happy and sad? Is that what I'm hearing?
It's not really, but there's that part of you, that childlike thing from your childhood that comes back and says, I don't want to get rid of it though. Even though there's no reason not to get rid of something. It just applies to not just boxes.
Yeah.
Why do you keep that old camera that doesn't work anymore or that isn't that good anymore?
I've got an old Polaroid camera that I'm keeping.
Yeah. It's going to be sad if you throw it in the trash.
Sad like the IKEA lamp.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a meme? The IKEA lamp or something? No. It was Michel Gondry.
Yeah.
Did a short film or whatever, or a commercial for an IKEA lamp. And it was this IKEA lamp that was just like sitting on the by the trash, and it was so sad, and they were playing sad music, and then it like cranes up to Michel Gondry sitting in his apartment. He goes, "It's just a lamp. Don't be sad for it. Just go get a new one."
I'm telling you, a lot of people think like that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay.
I don't have the luxury in New York to think like that. We either keep it or we don't, like on spot.
Yeah, that's true.
Such limited space here, so I've filled an entire closet of boxes, and then that's all the boxes we can keep.
Yeah.
Everything else goes away.
Yeah, the problem is I keep all the clutter out of my life, and the old clutter is in a storage space somewhere, which I dread ever having to go through. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just auction it off. Auction the whole thing
See,
off.
Yeah, I
I'm
should.
thinking about. Yeah. That's funny.
I'll let them. What's that show?
Storage Wars?
Storage
Right?
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy used to. He produced the first couple seasons of that show. I should call him up. Like, hey man, I got a storage spot for you. Come
Yeah.
check this crap out. Never know what
Storage
you'll
Wars
find.
is Storage Wars Texas, right?
I've got. Yeah, I got like literally all these old dual G4 towers in there, G5, just stuff. What am I gonna do with that?
Set up a CPU
You know?
render
It's
farm.
gonna be sad
Team
if I
viewer.
throw it away.
Team viewer that baby.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Anyway, let me get back to the links. Do we decide? Do we know?
Dave
Do we have an official?
I think the consensus is if you're planning on moving it or selling it, then
Gotcha.
you should keep the box.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You
that is
know,
true.
So I think that's a good thing. And Billy said PS3 Rock Band Beatles full set for 205 on eBay. So maybe I'll sell that too.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good one for sure.
Yeah.
I have way too many leftover guitars, drum sets, bass,
Yeah.
microphones.
Yeah.
All the rock
They've got an
band.
actual drum set now. I don't need Rock Band drum set.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I'll just turn on Rock Band drum set on the TV and then I'll play along
Just
with
pretend.
it. I actually do
Yeah.
that. I do.
That's funny. All right, so for links, I think this is going to be interesting because there's a lot of links in here that are really relevant to things we're talking about today, just
All
by
right.
coincidence. So the first one, though, is from Jeff Webb. He put out this YouTube video on Memory of a Stolen Car, which we talked about a while back. He did a compositing breakdown. So I'll put that in the show
Cool.
links and you can check that out. And yeah, Rev said, did y'all just talk about boxes for 20 minutes? Heck yes, we did. It's like, we
Yeah.
need filler, guys. The Skeptic's Introduction to Crypto Art and NFTs for Digital Artists and Designers. Talk about a well put together, awesome breakdown. Have y'all seen this?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, no.
No, I saw it tweeted, but I didn't read it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to get through it all, but like this is bookmarked. I'm ready to dig in because I don't know everything about crypto art. I still have a million questions.
Mhm.
And people ask me about crypto art and I don't know how to answer them, Oh, I saw you were talking about crypto art. So I'm like, I don't know the answer. I can just ask other people about crypto art on the internet. That's about as good as I can do on that subject. So check that out. It's a great deep dive, and it explains everything, and it talks about the different sites. Like I was talking about earlier, Sean Ardemon, he has a face rig tutorial on Cineversity that you got to check out. It's really great. He did the artist, the character thing when the latest version of Cinema 4D came out. And so check that out. He digs into his rigs and stuff. It's pretty fantastic. And like we were talking about earlier, it's something like I can't even imagine wrapping my head around all of this incredible amount of detailed character information. Like I'll never be to that point. I just can't devote the time to getting characters. You have to, you got to have the discipline to say, I'm going to be a character person.
Yeah.
It's not me. So also Brandon Clements put out a Blender tutorial. It's curve modeling in Blender in under 4 minutes. So I'll link
That
to
was
that.
part 2, right? Or I think he did a 2-part one.
He did something else recently. Well, he also did a modeling thing in Blender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Luis put out a Five Nights at Freddy's, the ball pit Five Nights at Freddy's that he did, where he slowly comes out and like the balls are falling all over him and everything. It's all Mography. He did a tutorial on how to do that, and this is great. So there is officially a Snopes article now on when the Capitol got trashed. Did the Oval Office also get trashed? Because Smearballs made a render. When was that? A few weeks ago. Of the Oval Office completely trashed. It was a render.
Right.
Well, that started going around in, Facebook circles and, whatever. And so there had to be a Snopes article.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Tom Coben who was on, and I don't remember who it was.
Tom Coben was on, and I'm pretty sure it was me.
And
it was me who said it.
You know that
Yeah.
you've made it when you have a Snopes article about your render.
Yeah.
So it was that did not happen in the Oval Office. It's just a render.
Right.
Everybody calm down. There is no blow up
Yes.
doll in the.
Also,
Like, come on.
the Oval Office is not in
The Capitol.
the
Capitol.
the Capitol building.
I know. It's like,
That's the
what?
first thought. I was like, they're
Yeah.
not even in the same spot.
Well,
Mm,
there you go.
idiots.
Now, also, now I don't know how to pronounce this name. I apologize ahead of time, but Abdullah, it's either Cokes or Kokse. I don't know. I'm sorry, but he made an animation called Lonely Bear, and this got me right in the feels. I don't know if you saw it.
yeah?
It was on multiple things. It was like on the Cinema 4D, Facebook. It was on Octane group, all of that, right? And it's a sad bear. And he said, I am living very far from my kids. Every day is pain for me. I wanted to reflect my longing for my kids with this project. I hope you like it. Please try to enjoy every second that you have with your children. And man, it got me in the feels. Because I guess he
Yeah.
hasn't been able to see his kids for whatever reason. And at the end, because it's like an animation where the bear is thinking about the memories he had with his kid. And now the kid isn't there for whatever reason. And at the end, it says, Happy birthday, my princess. So I guess he made this render for her birthday. Got me right here as a parent. So check that out. That is the end of the links.
Dave's links.
So let's move to Mograph Recommends. Isaac, we're going to ask you all the questions about
I wrote
your
them down.
faves. Awesome.
Ooh.
He's well
my homework.
prepared. Yeah. So we're going to start
Doesn't mean
out-
they'll be good answers. Just means that they're prepared answers.
Yeah. We'll start out with your favorite movie.
It's a weird one, and I don't know why it is, but it just is. It's the King's Speech, which most people find is a super boring movie.
Oh, that's
But
great.
I don't know. I'm super into like the world that they have and like the set and costuming of that movie. And it's a very relaxing movie for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's like one of my favorites. And I was just so sad to find out the guy who directed that is also the director of Cats. So that's
Oh,
also on
that's
his list.
Wah.
So
That's funny.
That's the
Yeah.
one, because I haven't seen it, but that's the one where he has a speech. What is it? He has a stutter?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
the king.
he's the king. Yeah.
I don't remember which one.
King's Speech.
Yeah,
He's Queen Elizabeth's father.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know
And so he
nothing
goes
about
to like a speech therapist, and then just other royal shenanigans and drama throughout the rest of the film. But it's also like a film about nothing at the same time. I mean, there's like the big overarching thing, but it's kind of
Yeah.
just like a slice of like history
Mhm.
as well. Just but
it. So it's like
yeah.
the Seinfeld of historical British movies.
But yes,
Yeah,
but also
sure.
relaxing and not hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've been thinking about that movie actually a lot lately, because Biden actually grew up with a stutter, a really
Right.
bad stutter,
Hmm.
and he had to work really hard to kind of get past that.
Mhm.
You can actually see it a few times. There was one interview where him and his wife were being interviewed, and you notice a few times I feel like she's a little protective of him, and his stutter, because she would interrupt him a few times to answer his questions, But it's interesting to see, like it's good to see that isn't a that even though I don't know, you're not held back by that kind of that issue. I don't know.
You have to have a lot of motivation and discipline
Right.
to just tying it all in here. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
Ding. Yeah, there you go.
But
Oh,
yeah,
all the
probably
great
my favorite movie.
segues. Okay, how about music?
I didn't have a specific person for this one. I didn't know, but I just said like it's probably like alternative or indie. At this point, I really don't know who I listen to because I build monthly playlists based off what Spotify says I will like. Whichever one I like, I just add into that month's playlist, and then I just listen to that for the month. and I found out that I end up never knowing who I like because I don't ever look at the names. It just like plays in the background,
Yeah.
like on shuffle.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, I like this song, and then I'll have to like, if everyone's like, who do you listen to? I'm like, I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
That's what
Just the
Spotify has done
Spotify.
to me as well. It's just like, oh yeah, I know this song. I've listened to it 150 times, and I could not tell you who wrote it.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, it is great for recommendation. I mean, if I'm out running and my playlist finishes, it will start playing things that I like that are related
Yeah, just
to
the
it.
follow up.
So good, and then it will mix in other things, and it has been so good lately at picking good music based on that. Like,
Yeah.
the algorithms.
Unless you have a
go.
very niche enjoyment of music, like ska music.
I was gonna say yours,
And
is
then
all
it just
ska.
plays Less Than Jake all day. You know, it's like, come on, give me something different than Less Than Jake.
Zoot
Are you
Suit
very
Riot.
into ska music?
I do
Yes,
enjoy
he
ska
is.
music very much.
Anyway,
Ska music is the perfect music. It is.
is it?
It is the
I
perfect
do really
music.
like it in, like, I won't listen to any ska, and then like it will come up like in a movie or something. Like, oh yeah, that's like a fun. It's a funky
is.
little
It
genre.
is.
I like that. I don't know if I could listen to it all the time, but it's like fun when it comes up. You're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
weird.
I saw this TikTok where someone was like, he made a chart of like music for people who think they're smart versus music who are actually smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
And so like it's this like cross of like, you know, so you've got like Dream Theater are people who think they're smart and are actually smart. And then people like you've got like Tool on the complete opposite side for people who think they're smart but aren't actually smart. And then right in the very center he says, and in the middle you've got ska. Ska's perfect. Don't change. You're 100% great where you are.
I don't want to spread a rumor, but I'm pretty sure Oscar Isaac was in a Christian ska band before
yeah?
he was famous for
Boy,
being
talk
himself
about-
in movies.
Talk about niche.
Pretty sure I wrote a Twitter thread about that. But yeah,
Wow.
fun little ska little note there.
Ska
Ska
to
to
me is
music.
anything that's in a Shrek movie or. I feel like it's on my list with reggae. It's up there with reggae for
Well,
me.
reggae and ska, they have this. I mean, ska has its roots in reggae. You know,
Yeah, which is why
Yeah.
I don't like it. I guess
you don't like reggae? How can you not like reggae?
every reggae song is exactly the same.
Nah,
Hmm.
nah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I think so.
Reggae just kind of like seems like it should only be used for like establishing shots to tell you where the people are now.
Yeah.
That's like all reggae is useful
If they're
for.
on the
Yeah.
beach, if they're on
Yeah.
the beach, then,
Like, oh, okay, I get where this is going.
Yeah.
All right.
But like, it doesn't need to be an actual genre of music.
Yeah,
It's more of a
Feeling
sound,
hot,
a long
hot, hot.
sound effects. Yeah.
Feeling
That's not ska.
hot. Reggae.
Or that's not reggae.
Kind of is. It's
No.
steel drums.
A very bastardized form, I think, of reggae
Yeah.
at a very simplistic version, but it's
Yeah.
there.
C-Suite says Cats, the one where they had to remove all the buttholes in post.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, pretty much.
They first created the buttholes and then they had to remove them.
Oh, wait, why can't you just remove them and re-render them instead of having? Do you think they had to track?
They didn't
them out?
actually do that. They didn't do that.
Oh.
There were no buttholes.
I thought there was a whole thing about that.
No, I think that was an April Fool's joke.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they animated their tails
Yeah.
in post, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder.
But I don't know about the other stuff.
Interesting.
Other than even how weird that movie looks, the plot and just
So-
all of that movie is just bizarre.
what a
and
Yeah.
disaster that was.
hard to
I
sit
haven't
through.
seen it.
No, I mean after
It's on
everything I
HBO
heard,
if you want to.
I knew
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll skip through it and check it out if I can get it for free. You know,
Mhm.
let's just see. Let's watch this disaster. All right, next one. TV show.
This was hard. I watch a lot of TV shows, and like a lot of them are like generic ones, like that everyone likes. But I mean, this one is too. But like probably Sherlock is like one of my favorite.
Hmm.
It's a BBC
Mhm.
with Benedict Cucumber Man.
Back
And
to
then
Back
another
Six
one-
Trons. Yeah.
Yeah, is have you guys heard of Letterkenny?
Yo,
Yes.
I love Letterkenny.
Oh, they just came out with a new season, so
Oh, it's so
just binged
funny.
that recently. So good.
I tried
So
it.
very
It's-
weird. show.
It's very weird. So I have a bunch of family who sound exactly like them. And they are like hardcore hicks, you know? And it is so funny to watch that show and just I don't know.
It's such a good like mixture too, because it's like Canadian hick. It's not like your like standard like what we have in our shows of hicks. It's like the upper class of the hick. It's the Canadian hick.
Is it like red green? Something like that?
No, not really.
Area? No. You know what I'm talking about, right? Red green?
Yeah.
Red green show. Fix it all with duct tape. Yeah. Kevin says you got to check out Breaking Bad and The Wire.
I mean, I've heard of those
Heard of those.
Yeah.
maybe good shows. I don't know.
Are those any good? I don't know.
I've watched neither at all ever, but I've heard of them as the best. But yeah, Letterkenny is really good. It's a funny thing is that
allegedly.
Derek's on that show was one of the actors on the Solace project that was shot earlier this year with like Ash and Olaf. He's one of the main guys in that, which was kind of crazy to like watch that show. And then he was our actor. I was like, oh, I know you from Letterkenny. He's
you
like,
may
oh,
know
yeah,
me
no
from
one
such movies
that.
as...
Yeah.
That's funny.
Which, by the way, I introduced my daughter to Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to scar her for life?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, see, your dad and uncle loved this as a kid. My dad loved it as well. Loves it. We've watched it many times. And I'm like, you've got to understand this humor is a little weird. So
Did she watch Pee-wee's Playhouse?
She has seen Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas many times.
Okay.
So she understands
my kid really liked Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
You know.
The thing is, there are some Pee-wee movies you can't show a kid, but I remember watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 2nd grade at school. So I was like, okay. The scariest part was Large Marge.
Yeah, Marge.
And back then it was so scary, and now it's this awful claymation garbage.
Yeah.
And so she laughed at a lot of it, but in the end, I was like, so what'd you think? She's like, it was all right. She, of course, she wouldn't know these people. She knew one of them, but at the end, there's a reporter interviewing, what's the bully's name at the beginning that wants to steal his bike? Francis. Yeah. The reporter is, now my mind is blanking. Troy McClure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's his
Phil
real
Hartman?
name? Phil Hartman. And I just thought it was interesting. I kept noticing different characters, like the guy on the back lot that pulls up his mask, and he's like, "Dad, do you know how to get to something or other?" He was Jambi.
Oh, really?
And I never realized that he was Jambi. He was also the son of the station owner in UHF, which I just introduced her to last week.
Oh, that's funny.
You know.
Oh gosh, why would you subject her to that?
Yeah, because it's awesome.
It's awful.
And then
it's awful.
What's the other one? Miss Yvonne is in there too. She's one of the nuns. She's the nun that's talking to the kid. I didn't realize that. You know. But...
I think I'll start a paper route right now.
And Twisted Sister is in there. Yeah.
So stupid. Dumb movie.
Anyway, Isaac, do you listen to podcasts much?
Not much now because there's no commute, but like when there were commutes, I normally did, but not like smart people podcasts. It's normally just ones of people chatting it up.
Yeah.
But probably the one that I find the most interesting, other than your guys' podcast, always have to add that little caveat.
Yeah.
Is Curious by Josh Peck, where he just like interviews like celebrities that are like not like A-list celebrities, but it's like just other of his like celebrity friends, and there's just like lots of cool little tidbits and life advice and different stuff from all these other people that he talks to. Plus Josh Peck's like pretty funny, like him.
That's fun.
But yeah, that's a good podcast. But yeah, I haven't really listened to any because there's been no real like commuting or anything recently.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Yeah, not really.
No.
I have the ones that I've been listening to for years, but I've kind of just slowed down. You know, I haven't listened to my brother and me in at least a year.
Same here.
Just
I hear that one's really good.
It's
so
very
good.
funny.
There's just not enough time. I can't even keep up with one podcast these days because there's not enough driving time.
Yeah.
You know, I wish
Yeah,
I
it was
could listen while I
interesting to
run, but I
see-
can't.
It was interesting to see our podcast numbers, like right as COVID hit, like they just plummeted.
yeah.
You know,
but now
because
somehow
no
they're
one
back up
had.
even more. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
whatever.
interesting. Like you see this big dip, and then it's like it got to the point where people were like going back into work, you know, and
Yeah.
then it shot up like huge,
Yeah.
very bigly, you know.
Very
Bigly.
bigly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bigly.
mostly all I listen to now is Back to Work with Merlin Mann, and I can't even
Yeah.
keep caught up with that. That's my favorite.
I just listen to music.
Yeah.
If I listen to anything, it's just music right now.
That's why I
You
can't
know.
keep up. You know.
Yeah.
All right, plugin, and we're gonna take render engines out of the equation as a plugin for
Ah,
this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know there's a better version of this plugin, but the Video Copilot effects console, I think, is like the
Yeah.
first thing I download on,
Yeah.
like, because it's free.
I hear that a
It's the
lot.
first thing I download on most places, just because it's so like muscle memory. I have like no idea where anything is in the effects thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like, because I use it so much that it just like literally saves so much time. I'm sure there's more like heavy hitter ones that probably I would pick, like if I could only get one on a machine, but I don't know. That one is definitely one that like is a huge time saver, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't have that one. I've had it before.
Mhm.
I don't have it currently, but I always just keep my effects and presets or whatever up. So I
Yeah.
can go up there, search real quick, boom.
Greetings
you gotta
from
move.
greetings from south of Siberia. So this person always comments and always has such great things to say, and I have zero idea how to pronounce this name because it is
Yeah.
in characters that are not even in the English language. Is there any
Yeah.
way that you
Yeah.
could possibly give us a phonetic spelling of your name? Because I see you all the time, and I can't even say hi because I don't know how to pronounce those
Yeah.
characters. If you didn't, just drop it in the chat. App.
Probably have to be TikTok at this point, right?
Good.
Just gotta go to. I mean, it's like the void filler in our
is.
apartment. It's just like if there's any downtime, it's like we
Yeah.
could scroll through talks, and then we save, or I guess we like the ones that we want to like show each other at the end of the
Yep.
day. We do like
Yep.
our end of
Oh,
day
you have a
TikTok
show with
review.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
nice. I like that.
That's the only reason I like TikToks is so
Mhm.
that I can
Yeah.
show my
Yeah.
wife later. You know,
I get a lot of joy.
wish there was a
out of
better way
watching
to
those.
sort it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I have likes and then I have favorites. The favorites are the ones that I know I'll always want to come back to. That will, as they say, live in my head rent free.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact
Who's
that you
paying
can
rent to
download.
be in your head in the first place? I find
Yeah.
that is the weirdest phrasing. I was
Yeah.
like, what's happening that you
Yeah.
guys have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bartering system inside of your brain? Everything's
Exactly.
in there rent free, whether I like it or not.
yeah.
But yeah, there's such a weird colloquialism to TikTok that I am now a part of and
Mhm.
privy to that a lot of times just like, this is goofy. It's like another world of just like
It
how
is.
other people live and speak.
And it's crazy how fast the memes go by.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
It's
It's
such
like
good
if
entertainment
you-
value, though.
if you were to see someone like doing the Jason Derulo dance, you know, today, it'd be like, what? That's like
Hmm
8 months ago. Why
Yeah.
why is that still going? You
I
know,
watch people do like a sounds of TikTok video where it's like, this is like what was in January. I was like, that's insane. That feels
Yeah.
like 2-3 years ago. But
yeah,
yeah, they definitely go very, very quickly. They really get like the most they can get out of one, and then it's like on to the
Yeah.
next one.
I do like they just did an update to where if you watch a video and then you go to that person's account,
Just watched one.
it shows you
Yeah.
just watched. Oh, that's so good.
They're
Uh,
very good at building apps and
Yeah.
features. They are very good at it, like insanely good. Like even just their effects for a while were like top like notch insane like chroma keying and like stitching of like different stuff inside the like app itself of like little effects you could do was like insanely powerful. It's like how is this able to key me out of my background, but like
Right.
After Effects has like issues with like an actual green screen back there. It's like can't figure it out. I'm like, how is this on my phone and able to do it? But yeah, that they're very good at building apps and keeping people on those apps.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah.
thing that I don't like is when people are like, "Oh, like this for part 2, derp." It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you don't even have to like it; it's on
See-
their account.
And that's why I really like the just watch thing.
Because you can find...
now you don't have to scroll through finding
it's
out
next
where
to
part
it,
2
right?
is.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
literally that one.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not going to follow you. I'm just going to see where I was at. All right.
The weirdest thing about it is that, like, I find in that platform alone is, like, following someone doesn't really carry the weight of, like, following someone, because, like, I'll follow people and then never see their stuff again because I don't really ever go over to, like, my following thing.
Oh, see, I do that. I do. I do
Oh, you
go
do?
over my following.
Yeah,
all the
I
time.
I'm always
Yeah.
I'll go through my For You page, and just like scroll for a little bit, and then if I get bored because they're giving me just like people with like 10 views and stuff,
Yeah.
I'll switch over to my following, and I'll go through and watch their stuff.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's like on Instagram, I almost never go to the explore page, and I only go to my feed of people I'm following.
Right.
But then on TikTok, it's almost reverse. It's like I'm always on the explore,
Yeah.
and never
funny how
really
that
on my
works.
follow one. And
Yeah.
sometimes it will
Yeah.
switch it over and like feed you someone you're already following or something.
Right.
But
Right.
I think we have
Yeah.
a name. I think Sergio or Sergey. There we go. Sergey.
Sergey.
I think Sergey. Okay, easy enough for me. Thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
Cool.
All right, the hard one, life hack.
or book. I went with book.
Ah,
that's
I don't
right.
have any.
I forgot we have
I
that
don't
in
have
the notes.
any.
All right.
Yeah.
A life hack, I guess, if I were to go with that, is like cold showers, like late at night, to like get into the after part of, like, I always like do like, the normal work day, then like had dinner, and then like whenever I know there's going to be like the other work day, which is like the rest of your night into the late night, I just take a shower. And I feel like
Okay.
it's like a nice like reset into like
That
starting
is-
over
That's
again.
a good That's a good life hack. I like that. I like
It's
that.
not a healthy life hack because you shouldn't
Right.
have to do those other extra late nights. But if you do, I
Yeah.
feel like that's like my number one. Like,
Cold shower is a good one.
Yeah.
It's
A
because if
warm
I
shower
took a
makes you wanna
hot
go to
shower,
bed.
Yeah, it
I
does.
just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
cold shower is like a nice. I mean, there's like some scientific stuff. I think I watched a TED talk or something.
Mm-hmm.
But a book which I wrote down originally was like Creative Inc., which is a really good one. It follows the founding of Pixar, and it's like a.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's totally, but it's all about like Ed Catmull and like his involvement from like college days all the way into like his roles at Pixar. And as like 3D people, it covers like early 3D days too, and like him and his buddies like inventing the sub D method that we use now of like how to blend all those shapes and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Book, yeah, I think it's one of my favorite ones. I don't really read books, but I like listen to books.
In Big Hero 6, when he's talking about he's really impressed because he just met the dude who runs the school or whatever. They talk about a specific spline, and he talks. He's called it the something Catmull spline. It's a reference to Ed Catmull. I don't know. I thought it was really neat.
Yeah, it's like mathematical approximation of like 2 points and the curve stuff
Yeah.
between them.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that they just thought of that one day. They're like, we have like all this janky geo. We should figure out a way to make it super smooth without doing it actually. And he's like, yeah, we'll just math it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Winbush says, "Why am I the only one watching from Twitch?" I don't know. Everybody's on our YouTube. We don't.
Yeah.
There's some people on Facebook, but we just.
There was a
kinda throw it
spammer
out there.
earlier from Twitch.
Oh yeah, doing well there. No, we just kind of broadcast to Twitch just to do it, but we don't really do any more than that. I don't know that we have more than a few followers on there really. We just kind of add that to the list,
Yeah.
Yeah. But well, that wraps that part up there. That's pretty. Actually, that
Cool.
wraps most of everything up, unless anybody has any more topics to talk about.
Isaac, I'm excited to hang again.
Yeah.
Next time we're in
absolutely.
New York.
This was super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, whenever anyone can come back out here, it'll be super fun. It was sad. I mean, it was nice on like presenting side of doing like the 3D motion tour, not like in like as a recording. It was super easy on my end because I could like edit it down to exactly what I wanted. But yeah, there's nothing like the conventions. They're super fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait for us to be able to do those again.
Yeah.
I know.
Soon.
Never mind. Biden was saying that like
Oh,
the
boy.
first 100 days he's looking at getting 100 million vaccines out. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Be
Well,
like that's a third of the U.S. population right there.
The
That's
question-
a really good start.
The question's going to be, you know, as far as camp, really, I think what we're going to be keeping an eye on and what we can,
Yeah.
what we're going to be able to do by that date, you know. So
Yeah.
just everybody keep an ear out on that. We have to know, we have to get a very, very clear green light for that, you know, in order to hit that date that we're looking to hit right now. So nobody buy any plane tickets yet. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Just wait until it's official. We will have a green light day where we say it's going to happen, you know, plus tickets. So,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. All right. So all the things, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. Where can people find you? On the interwebs?
It's all just Isaac Taracks. So that little @ down there, that's me on everything. Yeah.
And I'll put links to all of those in the show notes as well. I got them on my list here. So check that out. If you want to check out the show notes, just go to the bottom of your podcast dingus. There's usually a little notes thing, and you can go to it right in there, or you can check it out in the comments of our YouTube page. So, yeah, I don't know. When the first premieres of Cinema 4D will take place. Oh, so live streams for next year. I don't
For
think
this year.
or yeah, it is next year. Wait. I don't know if anything has really been posted on that yet. So, I'm sure there'll be plenty of notice on that. So, and that is about it. I think we are going to get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review in your podcatcher of choice, helps get our ratings up, and subscribe to our newsletter, which goes out about once a month. I'm waiting a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Got a couple things we want to put in there. We're waiting on that. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the Mograph logo tee, the Paul Babb limited edition. I don't know. Feel the Babb 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go Doctors Without Borders. It's vintage now, right?
Vintage.
The Render Things t-shirt, hoodie, and long sleeve tee. The That Render Is Fire shirt, which you're only allowed to wear ironically, unless you're shams.
Unless you're shams. Yeah.
And then the Mograph blandishment shirt, which you can get as well. And no, I know I completely forgot to put it up on the new website, but I'll get to it. I put it on the to-doist or it doesn't happen. Gotta get that discipline, right? So we're going to get out of here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Mograph.com. Hit us up. Send us an email, info@Mograph.com. And again, Isaac, thanks a lot.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
All right. Until next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm Isaac.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
Stand by, everybody. We'll get all of the links and things. You can stop recording.